女士们、先生们，让我们有请道格拉斯·戴维斯登台。Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Doug Davis.
Good morning. You know, I'm really thrilled to be here in Shenzhen, the home of the China tech ecosystem, and the birthplace of many new and exciting IoT inventions that we've seen come to market in the past year. Now, I want to tell you about an opportunity. It's a 35 billion unit opportunity that we have in front of us as an industry. And I want to talk a bit about how we can work together to take advantage of that opportunity. Now, we at Intel have always felt that working together with partners, we can deliver the most robust Internet of Things solution to help customers create end-to-end applications, devices to the cloud, and supporting the Internet Plus national agenda here in China. But most importantly, we believe that Intel can enable intelligent, valuable solutions for customers. So as we talk about the Internet of Things, we put together a definition to kind of help guide the discussion. And we believe that the Internet of Things is devices connecting to the network and then to the data center or cloud, and creating data that can be analyzed to extract useful information. And it's that information that will transform the way that we work and the way that we live. In order to do this, though, we need to be able to have every device with built-in, secure, interconnected intelligence. So we put together a brief video to kind of get your imagination going about what's possible with the Internet of Things. And I want to show that to you. So now that we've sparked your imagination, I want to share with you an example from one of the partners that we've been working with recently. Last year, we began working with Transwiseway. They're a provider of IT services for transportation infrastructure companies within China. They're located in Beijing. And their solution includes an in-vehicle tablet, a telematics box, and then a way in which they can store and analyze data back in their data center. So they can track and optimize fleets for their customers all over China. So this morning I have the privilege to have Mr. who is Chief Technology Officer of Transwiseway, who's going to join me on stage and talk a little bit about their solution. So join me in welcoming Mr. Hu.
Thank you, Doug.
Thanks for being here. So tell us a little bit about what you're doing.
I'm very happy to be here and talk about our partnership with Intel to help us to solve some unique issues for China.
So tell us about the solution, a little bit more about how it works.
Yeah, on Transwise Way, we know there was a better way to manage our fleets and help decrease emissions. And we know for sure Intel was the perfect partner to help us solve this problem, and we began our collaboration.
Great. So tell us maybe a little bit more about the system itself.
Yeah, actually we want the entire system, based on Intel architecture from end to end. So we start our backend with data center and storage with Xeon. Vertical tablets with Atom. And now front end 20 megs box with Quark.
So our teams got together and created a video maybe to show a little bit more about how the system works. And we were fortunate enough to get to Mr. Xia, who is the president of Transwise Way Group, to talk about the solution. So maybe we can watch the video.
Sure.
Great.
中交新路是作为中国最大的商用车联网公司。应该说，过去3年，我们跟英特尔在数据中心、在云平台、大数据以及前端的车载设备方面，都进行了一些全面的合作。但未来，我们也希望通过基于英特尔的强大的这个计算能力、数据分析能力，我们也希望在更多的方面，已经跟我们提供。 我们为我们的客户已经提供了更多的这个服务，我们未来可能会更进一步的能够对过去的数据进行更精准的一些分析，对驾驶行为一个更精准的分析，从而更好的提升它的这个节油的效率，驾驶安全等等方面。去年下半年，我们也推荐相关合作伙伴跟英特尔开展了这个车载终端合作。 这是中国第一个基于 IA 架构的端对端的一个商用解决方案。我们的平台将会从目前的几十万辆车的互联，到年底的几百万辆车的互联，到不远的将来会1000万级车辆的互联。这个发展是非常迅速的。随着这个商用车联网的这个快速发展过程之中，也希望跟英特尔有一个更深入、更全面的这个合作，特别是在 大数据的处理和分析方面。
So, Mr. Hu, thank you for sharing the video and working with us to create that. I think it's a great example of how the system really works. But tell us a little bit about what's the impact of this system for your customers?
Yeah, actually, this system can save around 10% fuel for our customers. And recently, this solution has received Ministry of Transportation certification and approval. And nationwide deployment of this solution is scheduled for this year.
Wow, fantastic. 10% fuel saving, I think that's really powerful. So, Mr. Hu, thank you for working together with Intel, for sharing the kind of solution that you're creating. This is great.
Thank you.
Round of applause. So as we think about the Internet of Things, the numbers associated with it are all huge. And I want to take a little bit closer look at some of these numbers associated with this space. Now you heard Brian yesterday talk about the forecast, and he pointed out that industry analysts believe that by the year 2020, there'll be 50 billion devices connected to the Internet. Wu bai yi, 50 billion. So if you take that apart a little bit more, about 10 billion of those devices are PCs and tablets and phones and servers, which means the other 40 billion are things. And those things will include all of the great ideas and innovation that are coming from the mass innovation that's happening here in China. Now today, according to the analysts, we believe that the installed base is about 15 billion devices. And we know that about 85% of things that have integrated computing are not connected to each other or back to the data center or cloud. And that means that the number of devices that will be connected to the internet over the next 5 years is 35 billion devices. So let's look a little closer as to what that's going to mean for China. If you look at growth worldwide, the rest of the world is growing at about a 10% compound annual growth rate. But if you look at China, China is expected to grow at a 20% compound annual growth rate. So that's double the growth rate of the rest of the world. So let's break down the data a bit more, and let's look at some of the industries that are expected to make up that growth. And if you look at it worldwide, by the year 2020, the largest sectors are expected to be transportation and automotive, and next, smart homes and buildings, and then that's followed by manufacturing, industrial, and energy. But if we now look a little deeper at shipments into China, the data looks very similar. However, we'll see larger growth in areas such as transportation and in the industrial sectors, as you might imagine. And these trends are really consistent with the Made in China 2025 plans. Now, it's no surprise that an area such as digital surveillance and security is really growing rapidly. Today, about 70% of the vision and imaging systems in the world are installed in China, and most are made by China-based OEMs. These vision and imaging systems are really the eye of the IoT, and they're everywhere. We see them in transportation, retail, machine vision applications. We see them in security and surveillance applications, and even in smart cities. Now, we're all familiar with the saying, seeing is believing. Yin Jian Wei Shi. So let's look at a fun demo that gives us some insight into the application of these kinds of technologies in transportation and in surveillance. And I'd like to have Mark come out and help us with this. Hey Mark.
Doug, how are you doing?
Good, thanks for being here.
Thanks for having me here. This is really great.
So what do you have? Tell us what we're going to see here.
So we're talking about IP camera technology, and Intel has really invested heavily in IP camera technology. And in fact, in September, we announced the first smart IP camera, like this one here from Kedacom. Now what makes this smart is it actually has an Atom processor inside of the camera. Now that enables a whole host of new applications like real-time analytics. So now we can do things like we can identify objects, we can tell the difference between an automobile and a person.
Okay.
We can detect shapes and sizes, do pattern recognition, color, even direction of travel for like public safety applications.
Okay. So can we see it in action?
Absolutely. So once you come on over here,
okay.
And what we've got is a simple parking garage example. Okay. So it's a private parking garage, and what we're going to do is we're going to use the IP camera to identify the license plate on the front of the vehicle, and we're going to determine whether it has permission to enter or not. Okay. So we've got our gate here, we've got our IP camera. So the only thing that we need is a car, but our stage is not really big enough for a full-size car. So we talked to our engineers and said, look, you got to come up with a solution. Want to see it?
Yeah, I'd love to see what you came up with.
All right, so let's take a look. I don't know, I think they nailed it. What do you think?
I don't think you and I are going to fit in.
All right, so anyway, even though we're using a scaled-down model here, we've got all the same technology that you would actually find in a real-size car. So, for our example, we're going to bring the car towards the gate, and the IP camera is going to determine whether we can go inside or not. Okay. So up on the screen, you can actually see a live feed from the controller that shows us the live video that's coming from the IP camera there. Okay. So let's go ahead and bring it on in. And we're in.
All right.
Awesome. So then in the past, you know, there's been lots of applications where typically, you know, the video gets streamed, right, into a central location, and then you have to basically process all of those live streams and do a lot of those analytics, where this is something that enables it to be done at the edge, which enables it to do things much faster and quicker in a lot of different environments.
So it saves, in the past, these kinds of applications that are streaming just raw video over the network. We can push some of that analytics out to the edge, and then only move the data that really has value that we want to store in the data center and do analysis on later.
It's much more efficient that way, absolutely.
Great. So then what's next?
So we talked about Intel inside the camera. Let's talk about Intel inside the car.
Okay.
Now in this particular example, what we have is we've got 4 cameras that are located around the outside of our car. And what we're doing is we're able to seamlessly stitch together all 4 of those cameras into a single view. And that view is actually here on the display, is mounted on the top of the car. And it gives the driver a much better sense of what's around him. It's perfect for things like parking garages where you need to navigate in close quarters.
Great.
And we actually are seeing a live image of what's on that screen, on the screens up above. So the audience can actually see what we're experiencing here. And you can even see as I walk around the car, you can see my feet there. So really, it provides a really great view, and it's almost as if you're floating above the car, which is really perfect for what we want to do here.
Great.
So I'm going to go ahead and see if I can park over there in those stalls. So let me go ahead and bring this forward. There we go. Almost perfect, huh?
Yeah, a little work to do there.
Well, they say that this can improve parking ability by up to 40%, so you can just imagine how good I was yesterday.
Yeah, that's great. So, hey, I want to point out, too, that this is a real system being developed by Bounty. It's using an Atom processor and doing the image processing necessary to create this very smooth picture. There are other similar systems that are in cars today, but they're kind of awkward configurations, if you will. And this provides a very, very seamless kind of view using the Atom processor.
Exactly. It does a very beautiful view. And these are just a couple of examples of solutions that are going to help us get to these 50 billion connected devices.
And now think when we put RealSense into this kind of application, we can measure distance, we'll have that 3D capability, and that may even improve your ability to park the next time. So,
well, let's hope. All right. Thanks so much, Doug. Take care.
Helping me out. So these are just some examples of that are being done with regards to the Internet of Things. But if we want to be able to support 50 billion devices, we need solutions that can scale rapidly. To move from custom solutions, as many of the examples are that we see today, into horizontal and standardized kinds of solutions. Now, Intel has been part of these kinds of horizontal standardized implementations in the past. If you think about PCs and servers, storage, networking, and we've seen dramatic growth in those areas because of that level of standardization. And that's the kind of scale that we need to drive into the Internet of Things. Now, we talked a bit about the way in which we can scale when we launched our first application-ready platform at IDF Shenzhen last year. It was the Intel IoT Gateway. And this gateway allows customers to connect to and access data that they never had access to in the past. Now remember when I said earlier, about 85% of the things that have integrated computing today aren't connected to each other or to the data center or cloud. And these gateways give us the ability to now access that data. You heard Brian yesterday morning talking about a great example, the Beijing Friendship Hotel, where Vantron and BII Group were able to connect 20 different gateways throughout that hotel and drive some significant improvements in how that hotel operates efficiently. Great example of connecting the 85% of things that are unconnected. And we know customers need to be able to quickly and efficiently deploy these kinds of solutions as well. And so the Intel Gateway platform integrates the Wind River system operating system, the intelligent device platform, and the McAfee whitelisting technology to create this kind of a platform where customers can now create their own application stack to deploy out into the solutions they're creating. And we're committed to providing a broad range of these types of gateway platforms as well. Now we're really fortunate to have a vibrant ecosystem that's working together with us to create these solutions. Today, we have over 20 Intel gateway designs that are being supplied by a dozen different companies. But that list is about to grow. We know that Dell, AD-Link, Axiom Tech, and SBS are joining us by bringing their own Intel IoT gateway solutions into the market. So together we'll expand the range of offerings that we can create to meet the requirements of the market as we create the level of scale that I described earlier. I also want to highlight another piece of news that came out a couple of weeks ago at Microsoft's developer conference. They announced the acceleration of their efforts around the Internet of Things. And they demonstrated Windows 10 running on an Intel Atom gateway. And this is driving scalability into major IoT market segments such as industrial, manufacturing, retail, and smart buildings. It's another great example of Intel and Microsoft working together. Now, in this embedded space associated with these Internet of Things, we've always described our product portfolio as a pyramid, with our high-performance processors at the top, the Xeon processors, and then Core and Atom and into Core. And as we scale down in size and footprint and power, we address a larger and larger volume of applications. And we're continuing to add more and more Intel processors to support the creation of these kinds of Internet of Things solutions. We're taking the very best of Intel silicon and we're supporting it for 7 years of production life. We're supporting extended temperature, minus 40 degrees to plus 85 for harsh operating environments. And we're doing all the development and optimization necessary to support a broad range of operating systems as well. So I'm really thrilled this week with the news that Brian announced yesterday morning of adding the Atom X3 product to our product portfolio for the Internet of Things as well. It'll be on our overall roadmap supporting both 3G and LTE connectivity, essential for connecting the Internet of Things. And this product will also be supported with 7 years of life and with extended temperature range as well. So now this enables us to extend our Atom product line down even further and cover a broader range of applications and still deliver that x86 instruction set compatibility and all the great performance that you expect out of the Intel Atom product line. So you can expect us to continue to build out our portfolio, adding more products, extending further into the base of the pyramid, and covering an even wider range of power and performance and footprint. All, again, based on the x86 instruction set, so that the software investment that you make is scalable from the high end of the roadmap all the way down into the small footprint, low power kind of applications, as well as preserving the investment that you make generation to generation as you continue to extend your product family. I also want to show you another example of the ecosystem at work. So join me over here. I want to show you a really great implementation of a smart point-of-sale system from Center M. Now this is the first China-based smart point-of-sale system. It provides greater security features, analytics for retailers, the ability to do inventory management, but still meeting all the requirements of a cost-sensitive market. And these are great examples you can see running both Windows and the Android operating system. They also integrate all the features you would expect, right? Card swipe, chip and pin, the NFC tap-to-pay capabilities, but also the ability running on an Intel Atom processor to provide the rich interface from a user interface standpoint, as well as the performance to do things like advertising displays when the system isn't currently in use. And so you can see that user interface provides all the capabilities that someone needs to use this in a retail application and to be able to scale across many devices within a store, as well as devices from store to store or across a retailer's chain of outlets. So really exciting, compelling application in the retail market segment. To continue our investment in Chinese innovation, research and development, I'm also really excited to announce that Intel and the Strategic Alliance of Smart Energy, or SASE, are investing in a lab for doing platform development in the energy sector. Now, these labs provide an environment for customers and developers to come into an environment where they can connect their systems into an actual infrastructure to do all the validation and testing that's necessary to create these end-to-end solutions. Now, we have some of these labs in other parts of the world, and we've seen that these types of labs give customers the ability to really speed up their implementations because they're able to put them into a real infrastructure and see how the systems behave in those kind of environments. And so I think this is really exciting to bring this kind of capability here to China. Now, this lab will be located in Beijing, and it will be up and running and open for business at the end of this month. So I've highlighted some of my favorite IoT examples. You've seen a few here this morning, but there are so many more that we thought it would be much more efficient to put together a video and take you through a number of other great examples that we see in the market. If we could run that video as well. Great examples, but remember, we're just getting started. This is a 35 billion unit opportunity that we have in front of us. Now, China may not have the largest installed base, but you have the fastest growth rate anywhere else on the planet. And to accelerate the innovation that's possible, we really encourage you to take advantage of your local teams, the local Intel support teams, and the technical expertise that we have available here to help you create these designs. Use this new lab and other new labs that we'll be creating. Use the IoT developer kits that Doug Fisher talked about yesterday morning. We also want to hear from you with regards to the types of application-ready platforms that will help you scale and get solutions into the market faster. And I encourage you to continue to look for new partners and alliances that can help you create these end-to-end types of solutions. We're really excited to work side by side with you to create the greatest set of compelling new Internet of Things applications that we'll see over the next 5 years. So together, we can make these 35 billion new devices work to help deliver amazing user experiences, to transform many traditional industries, and we can help solve social problems. Ultimately, these solutions will improve all of our lives, and that's the power of the Internet of Things. So this week at IDF, you've heard 3 key things. You've heard Intel reiterate our commitment to continue to make the future with China, and especially as we celebrate our 30th year here. Intel is going to continue to drive global innovation, and as we said, if it computes and connects, it does it best with Intel. And we're going to continue to develop deeper collaborations with the China tech ecosystem from devices at the edge of the infrastructure to the data center and cloud. With Intel inside, you can create innovation outside. So I want to thank you for being with us this week, and I want to thank you for the ongoing partnerships. 谢谢。